Hello everyone, hope you're having a good day. I'm having a good day because, well, Bad Batch episode 8 just released and it was fantastic. And I'm here to talk about it. I want to talk about this extraordinarily weird episode where a girl who has the DNA of a boy gets kidnapped by a blue alien. Man, Star Wars can get weird at times, huh? But anyway, where do we start? Well, let's start at the beginning, of course, just like anything else. The episode opens up on Camino with our good pal Crosshair and his new squad. We discover that the Scrappers who had spotted the Bad Batch last episode have now ratted them out to the Empire. Crosshair and his new group with this information start heading to Braca with one goal in mind, to find these filthy deserters and terminate them. So, well, we finally get to see more Crosshair. That's always a treat. He's a really fun character to hate, yet you can't really hate him at the same time, because of the stupid inhibitor chips. You see this terrible person who may have murdered, many innocent people, and that would normally make you hate him. Yet you know that he's not, truly in control of his own actions. It leads to you actually feeling sympathy for him. But yet he's still not a great person. Now, let's take a step back from all the doom and the gloom of the beginning and flash over to the Bad Batch still on Braca. It starts with this fun scene of Wrecker teaching Omega how to disarm a bomb. And their relationship is one of my favorites, and I think it's kind of underrated. Yeah, sure, we've got Omega and Hunter, everyone loves that, but sometimes you just gotta sit back and watch a big buff man be good friends with a little girl. After Omega then absolutely bombs the test of disarming the bomb, we see that the Scrappers are still watching the Bad Batch. Echo, being as observant as he normally is, he spots them, and well, the Bad Batch end up taking them down. It turns out that the Bad Batch's plan is to take some of the weapons on the cruiser back to Sid to clear the debt. So they're essentially just Scrappers now, trying to get themselves in a better place by taking some of the weapons and intel from the central system of the ship. They're not doing great in life. And it only gets worse when their old friend and his crew land on Braca. It's time for Crosshair vs. the Bad Batch, round 2. Except Crosshair decided to go a little overkill and bring 3 ships full of soldiers. He really respects his old friends and knows just how hard this ragtag group of clones is to kill. Before they actually get to fight though, we take a little detour back to Camino, where we see 2 Caminoans talking about some bounty hunters, and know everything will be okay if said bounty hunters can bring back Omega. So we get another scene just showing how desperate the Caminoans are on getting Omega back. This really makes me wonder just what's so special about her. My favorite idea is she has the Force, but I could see it potentially being anything else. I'm probably end up going to make a video over what all could be so special about Omega, because it's just such an interesting and broad topic. There's so many different options and ideas, and most of them I'd be perfectly fine with. So now we see Crosshair and group back on the Braca, and we have this fun scene of one of the clones thinking that the atmosphere is blocking their scanner, but Crosshair, after having spent so much time with the Bad Batch, knows that they are just blocking the scanners themselves. He decides to go straight inside the cruiser where he knows the Bad Batch are. This whole scene of the Bad Batch trying to get out of the cruiser and the Empire looking for them had me exceptionally nervous the whole time. Just waiting for Crosshair to stick his ugly face out and surround the clones, and sadly my fear did come to fruition. This comes to happen by when Tech taps into the enemy's comms, but Crosshair of course predicted that, so he flips the tables on the Bad Batch and uses it to lead them into a trap, where they are completely surrounded. I really enjoy this interaction between the Bad Batch and Crosshair, with Crosshair of course wanting to kill his old friends and the old friends just wanting to get out of there. I think the pain that they're feeling over Crosshair's betrayal that has played over these 8 episodes really leads to this moment being so great. They don't want to have to kill someone who was once a close friend, but they might just have to if they want to survive another day. Crosshair has this really interesting line where he talks about how the Bad Batch have become rats, being forced to scavenge. It really shows how much he despises the Bad Batch and just loathes them. But I think the show's way of showing us how much hatred and loathe Crosshair truly has is just to make the event, when he eventually does turn back to the good side, even more powerful. And that event, if it does happen, will probably lead to his untimely demise. That event doesn't happen yet though. The Bad Batch forcing the ship's cannons to fire, which causes the ceiling to come down crashing, giving the Bad Batch some time to get away from Crosshair and the group for the moment. They're not safe just yet though, for they are still stuck on the cruiser, and even if they wanted to get back to their ship, it's surrounded by enemy soldiers. There's this fun scene while they're trying to run away where they run into one soldiers, and Wrecker, being Wrecker, decides to throw the heavy torpedo he'd been mucking around at the dude's head. The Bad Batch decide to try and escape through the ion engine chamber, which in theory does sound like a decent idea, but they didn't predict that Crosshair would, be Crosshair, and know that's where they were going to try and escape from. And once again, we also get some more fun lines from Wrecker, just solidifying him as one of my favorites in the Bad Batch. The Red Batch are now once again surrounded by the Empire soldiers with nowhere to escape. But you would think that but if you think it couldn't get worse from here, you'd be very wrong. With Tech having earlier turned the ship's power on to get some intel off of it, Crosshair decides he wants to fry the Bad Batch, just like the unhealthy food at a carnival. He sends one of his men to turn on the engine. Now, luckily for the Bad Batch, the engine takes a little while to turn on. This isn't a situation where the Bad Batch would escape, but they decided to do the most Bad Batch thing ever, and place explosive charges around a part of the engine. Man, you always said a word so much and it loses all its meaning. That's happening to me with Bad Batch right now, you know? Anyways, it's something that really has like a 1 out of 10 chance of working, but hey, it's the Bad Batch, so it does work just barely in time, exactly in the Bad Batch style. This scene of the theme putting all the explosives was really fun, but scary at the same time. Now, of course, you know they all probably won't die, but there's still this sense of fear and urgency that makes scenes like these great. The engine ends up backfiring on Crosshair and burning him. I have a friend who compared him to like a knockoff Anakin with, the breathing mask and everything. The fall of the part of the engine ended up separating the Bad Batch, with Omega and Hunter on one side and the others on the other side. And they all agree to meet up back at their ship. But, oh wait, their ship is surrounded by soldiers. Yet, when they get there, all of the soldiers are taken out of the picture. By who, you may ask? Well, that would be the infamous bounty hunter, a recurring character from the Clone Wars, Cad Bane. That's right, everyone. Cad Bane is alive and doing well. I won't lie, when the Bad Batch TV show was announced and we got the trailers for it, one of the characters I did not expect to see was certainly Cad Bane, because it just didn't make sense to me. But hey, I'm all here for it because Cad Bane is great. He's awesome. And why is he here on Braca? Well, it's pretty obvious and you probably guessed it. He's one of the bounty hunters being paid by Kamino to bring in Omega. Or at least that's the current idea at the time and the most probable one. He is in fact after Omega though, we know that. And this is where we get this really cool scene where Hunter and Cad Bane essentially have what would be classified as a Western shootout in Star Wars. And well, you can guess the outcome of it. Hunter gets shot in the chest plate and Cad Bane gets away with Omega. This is a moment where I actually thought Hunter might be dead, and that's a horrifying thought, but luckily he didn't die. Yet it seems like he may not be far from it. And that's where the episode ends, with the Bad Batch getting on their ship and escaping Braca. So, wow, this episode was by far the best one yet, even before Cad Bane showed up. The rest of the show is going to be great. It's setting up so many potential storylines to happen, which will all be great in their own right. I assume we might have a showdown with Cad Bane and the Bad Batch, but we might not. We never know. There's a few questions that need to be answered, a lot of things just left in the air. The show just keeps on getting better, and the animation improves every episode somehow, and the story is great. I can't wait for next episode. Anyways, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider liking and subscribing to help this video reach more people. See y'all next time. Peace.